Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is JohnJake Baseball on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the USBL Dynasty here on MLB The Show 21. Almost had the Coach Grossman Dynasty. We run that over on the main channel. If you're checking in, this is actually not my main channel, right? But that being said, though, we are out here. We're gonna get ready to jump into this offseason, man. We saw the Minnesota Ducks, they end up winning the World Series. I kind of recapped all that in the last episode in the season recap. But, you know, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this offseason, man. Gonna be a good one. So make sure you smash that like button. Hit subscribe as well if you happen to be brand new as we go ahead and jump right into this thing. Offseason, we are here in the offseason. Let's go ahead and check out these retirement players. And we actually do have some retirements across the board, man. We got a lot to unfold. We got Robinson Cano, you know, hanging up the cleats. We have Josh Tomlin. He is going to retire due to age. He did not play last year. A few minor league retirements due to ability. Same thing with the Nashville Blues, the Minnesota Ducks. Levi Michael, he's gone as well. We got a couple of people retiring because of age, though. J.A. Happ is here. He is now down to a 60 overall. Did not appear in any games last season, so he's done. And then, surprisingly, Joey Votto is not on here. He's going to play one more year, it looks like. Wade LeBlanc, though, is going to retire. He did not appear in last season. Wade Miley, he's going to retire as well due to ability. Nick Vincent, Thomas Jenkins. We got Steven Vogtson here. We do see Jade Lowry retire due to age. He's now 61 overall at this point. He played in a few games in year number one. Was actually pretty effective when he got in there, but this year he did not play in any games, so he's gone. And then looking through the rest of the list, we saw Cole Hamels. He's going to retire due to age. He had a fantastic career, 173 and 131. Pitched, you know, thousands of innings, 3.47 ERA. Had a really solid career, man. Didn't appear this year, but year one he was 10-9 for them with a 4.1 ERA, so that's solid. And then looking through the rest of the retirements real fast. You know, nobody else retiring. You know, a lot of these guys are minor league guys, to be honest with you. They, you know, that haven't really gotten their chance in the big leagues. And yeah, we're that is the free agent, or at least the new retirees. We'll see if anyone, you know, did make it to the Hall of Fame. And sure enough, we got a couple of Hall of Famers. Robinson Cano of the Baltimore Stone Crabs, he gets in there. 301 batting average, 347 home runs in the career, and 1,300 RBIs, played from 2004 to 22. Albert Pujols is also in there as well. He was not on a USBL team, but despite that, over 650 home runs. Did not get a chance to reach 700, unfortunately. And yeah, we got two Hall of Fame guys in here. The Baltimore Stone Crabs actually the first team with a Hall of Famer on their roster, so that's really cool to see that go down. And now I will get back to you guys when we are ready with the exclusive free agent negotiations. Now, before I go ahead and jump into some of the players that are going to be testing the free agency market, I wanted to take a look at the custom prospect that we got coming in. We got Bjorn Sigarson. He is somebody that, you know, he's actually from Iceland. He is, I know he said he's from Ireland, but he's supposed to be from Iceland. The game did not have any of that. He is, you know, really high-end player in terms of potential. He is a 90 potential guy. He's got that A potential, but definitely a lot of room for growth, right? He is only a 46 overall, even with the adjustment to ratings, and that is a positive that you do get. When you do have a custom prospect in this series, you do end up having somebody, you know, their ratings get boosted up a little bit. You know, I do edit the ratings for custom players a little bit, but still a lot of room to grow. He is going to be deep in that first base depth chart. Hopefully maybe somebody that comes in, you know, late 20s, early 30s maybe. Somebody that, gets in that way, but we'll just have to wait and see how all that turns out. For now, he is going to be listed in AA. Now it's time for us to go ahead and start with players that are going to be leaving through the exclusive negotiation process. Tony Walters is going to be one of them. Solid catcher, 77 overall. He's not a key free agent, but somebody that could be a solid stopgap starter for your baseball team. Just doesn't like the situation that he's in. He's the first string catcher on a team that didn't even make the playoffs, so he is actually going to end up walking. Speaking of players that are going to be walking, and probably the best player available in free agency, we do have Whit Merrifield. He is an 89 overall. Dude is an absolute stud. Nice all-around player. Somebody that, batted 276, 25 homers, 69 over RBIs, and is a very good defensive player as well. Has some solid defensive attributes. Just, provides a very good all-around impact. Best free agent that's going to be available on the market. And we're going to be interested to see where he ends up going, because this man, he has a lot of talent for sure. He will be testing free agency. Speaking of free agency, Max Stacy is going to also test free agency as well. Somebody that has a little bit of a hard time hitting the baseball, but he is a great defensive asset for those that want to bring him onto their baseball team. Tim Anderson, however, he's going to be a key free agent. Somebody, a very good contact hitter. Also a solid defender. Really brings a nice all-around impact. Plus, he's in his prime right now. 29 years old as of right now. Not a great batting season for him. He is a little bit down from the last couple of seasons. But that being said, still a very good player. He's got a lot of, quirks that would be helpful for a baseball team. And for the most part, with the exception of his contact stats, those are still, really good. He is still growing for the most part, and still really great versus left-handed pitchers. So somebody that could be a great left-handed killer for your baseball team. He's going to be testing free agency, but they are not the only people that are going to be going ahead and moving into free agency. Johan Camargo, a third baseman for the Baltimore Stone Crabs. He's in his prime right now. 80 overall guy, so he will be a notable free agent that other teams will play for. And he's still got 2 years of arbitration, so the Baltimore Stone Crabs will have an extra chance on the spin wheel to go ahead and grab this guy again, but he will be at least testing free agency. Speaking of notable free agents, Danny Jensen of the Las Vegas Lounge Lizards is also going to be testing free agency. Also an 80 overall guy. Decent batter, but is a better defender though. He is 27 years old, and he didn't play much last year, and that's why he's testing free agency. Only had played in 2 games. He had 1 at bat which he struck out in, so he's not getting a lot of love, even though he did come here as a free agent last year, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, definitely really interesting. Just a guy that has not gotten the opportunity that he's been looking for. So Danny Jensen, he will be testing free agency also as a notable free agent to see where his services are required. Speaking of notable free agents, we also have Vlad Guerrero Jr., who is probably the best of the arbitration free agents that are going to be on the market. We saw him in the postseason. He had a solid postseason. Didn't have the same numbers that he had last year, though. Didn't have as many RBIs, didn't have as high of a batting average, but he is a real young player. A potential, 81 overall. He, would like to stay in Philadelphia, but also wants to test the market to see what kind of deal he can get. He's a very good third baseman that I'm sure a lot of teams could definitely use moving forward. And then wrapping up the arbitration free agents, we actually have 3 from the Denver Bald Eagles. We got Austin Hayes, first and foremost, 27 years old, 80 overall. Just, they're not very good right now, and he wants to go to a team that's a little bit more of a winner. And he excels at batting versus one-handedness only. So, yeah, he can really excel versus right-handed pitching. and he still, hasn't reached his full potential yet, I don't think. So this would be a good pickup for somebody. A couple other players that are also available on the market is Daniel Robertson. He's a 75 overall. He will not go on the spinner. The CPU will determine where he goes next season, and then the same thing will also happen to Brett Martin. He's a 72 overall relief pitcher. Could be a decent arm for somebody, so we'll see what happens to him as well. So how about this for surprising free agent signings to get this offseason going? We got Tim Anderson making his decision, and he is not going to return to Charlotte. He is actually going to go across the country, stay in the National League, and play for the Denver Bald Eagles, and that is a massive signing for them for sure. As we do go ahead and let's take a look at Denver's roster real quick, just to see the impact of this signing. And yeah, Tim Anderson is now the best position player on the roster. It's a huge grab considering the depth that was behind them. A lot of young talent for sure, Terran Vavra, Luis Garcia, but now they have a veteran guy that they can really learn from and can really use that opportunity, to make themselves better, because these guys are probably best off, for backup roles, particularly Vavrin, who batted on the interstate last year. It's an upgrade at the position for sure. Now, another major free agent that was available on the market was Whit Merrifield, second baseman, but he actually is choosing to stay with the Nashville Blues. He actually stays on a 4-year contract, 4 years, $32 million. So a big win for Nashville, able to keep him around. Keeping a solid core of, Jarrett Cole, Brian Buxton, Rice Hopkins, able to, keep, a good group of this team together. And, we'll see if Nashville can have better results. They are in a really tough division, the AL Central. Saw 3 teams go to the playoffs. Columbus is even competitive. So, they got some work to do. They're in a tough division, but this is a solid baseball team, and I can't wait what they can do, moving forward. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the Rule 5 draft here at the USBL. Now, what I did back in year number 1 was that I went ahead and auto draft for every team, and that's what I'm going to do again here in year number 2 in this offseason. As we take a look at the really the draft order that should be expected. Cleveland does have the number 1 pick, followed by Denver, Jacksonville, Nashville, and the New York Knights rounding out with the top 5. So I'm going to go ahead and draft for everybody, and I'll see you guys there with the results. All right, so I don't necessarily know what happened, but I actually did not get a chance to go ahead and try to go about getting those Rule 5 draft results for you guys. I don't know what happened. I definitely missed out on that, so that's my apologies. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get through the rest of the season just to see any of the other not arbitration, but free agent signings that we have throughout the USBL. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the rest of the free agent signings. We start with Vlad Guerrero Jr., 81 overall guy, signs with the Louisville Colonials. He had a good year last year, 255, 25 homers, and 82 ribbies. Definitely should be a really good improvement over Nicky Montano. Not that Nicky Montano wasn't bad, but he does provide a good batting upgrade. Montano more of a defensive guy, so we'll see if they still play Montano in the field, but then maybe allow Guerrero Jr. to maybe be a designated hitter. But still a great signing. He is going to add to what is a pretty good roster for Louisville. They just need to get things together a little bit more, and then they'll be good to go. Keeping it in the same division, though, we have Austin Hayes signing with the Aurora Lightning. 80 overall guy. He's going to be a big upgrade over Booker Hobbs, who is a faster guy per se, but Austin Hayes does provide more power than what Booker Hobbs did. So that will be a really good upgrade as well. Really adding to what is a nice outfield in Dominic Smith and Benito Osuna, and a younger outfield as well. None of them at the age of 30 years old. So Austin Hayes will be joining the Aurora Lightning on a 5-year, is it a 5-year deal? Yes, it is a 5-year, $50 million deal. Now, one of the surprises that we did end up seeing is that Danny Jensen did end up staying with the Las Vegas Wizards. You know, he does actually surpass Mike Suzuno, who is here on the team. Played a little bit more last year than Danny Jensen. They like him as a backup catcher. They keep him around, and still could be used as trade bait later down the line. He gets a 5-year, $8.2 million per year deal to go with it. So a nice offer that Las Vegas was able to provide for them for sure. As we go ahead and move forward with the last major signing, and now it's the Nashville Blues, man. Nashville was able to get themselves a high quality third baseman and Johan Camargo. They had Tristan Casas start last year, and he has a good future ahead of him, but Johan Camargo, he can play right now for you guys. 274, 13 home runs, 32 RBIs, and really, in these free agency things, what I love about free agency, how I set up for USBL, it's kind of more of a competitive bounce to make sure that every team has a chance to, at least be competitive. Trade day kind of being the opposite of that for the near term. But yeah, Johan Camargo leaves the Baltimore Stonecrabs. He does sign a nice deal for the fact that he only played 71 games last season, so he will be a full-time player for Nashville as he gets a chance to really show himself, in a full season role. But yeah, man, that is going to wrap up the off season for the USBL. It's been a fun first couple of seasons, but we're gonna build on that. Gonna be a great episode next time out, as we will take a look and take a deeper dive into each of the 30 rosters of the USBL. Didn't want to do that in this episode, didn't want to keep it too long, because the season preview for year 3 is gonna take a little bit, so it's gonna be real exciting. I hope you guys are ready for it. If you are, smash that like button, hit subscribe as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. And with that being said, this is JohnJake Baseball on the mic signing off. But I'm hoping you're all out here having a good one. Take care, everybody.